What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Sports Talk with Justin. Today, I'm going to be giving you my post-NFL free agency power rankings, where I think every team stands now as a tier list. Obviously, we're very early in the offseason, so a lot of this could change, especially after more free agent signings and the draft and some trades in the summer. We're just going to talk about where each team stands right now from a roster standpoint, expectation standpoint. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. Comment down below how you think your team is going to do as of right now next year. And also, if you haven't already, please subscribe and let's get right into it. So here's our tiers for today. We have at the bottom rebuilding or trash. So either that team is just rebuilding or they are really, really bad. And then above that, not good. You have teams that they're not really a rebuild, but they're just not good at all on paper. Then above that, you have teams that will miss the playoffs, so probably like 5 to 8 wins, so that kind of mid-tier. And then above that, you have a playoff team. This team should be in the playoffs next year. Above that, you have a deep playoff run. And then above that, you have Super Bowl contenders. So right now, if the Super Bowl was tomorrow, I think these teams would be in it. These teams would be close to it, and these teams would be playoffs. They could, have a deep playoff run and Super Bowl contenders, but I still want to see a little more from them. So without further ado, let's get right into it. First up, we have the Arizona Cardinals. They are definitely rebuilding right now. They have a new coach, which is Mike LaFleur. They don't have a quarterback as of right now. Their best wide receiver, Michael Wilson, Marvin Harrison Jr., Kenneth Bourne. Trey McBride's a really good piece. They have a couple good running backs, but the defense, I think, is bad. Besides Budda Baker and a couple other players there, it's not really good. This team is in obvious need of a rebuild, and they're going to try to probably just get as many draft picks as they can. I'm sorry about these ads that are all around. I can't really do nothing about it. So next up, we have the Atlanta Falcons, and I think they are on the brink of the playoffs. I don't think they've gotten much better at all this season. I think the only way the Falcons do be better next year is if Kevin Stefanski elevates that team, like unfortunately I have a feeling he will. This will be easily the best offense Kevin Stefanski has had since he's been in the NFL, and he took the Cleveland Browns to the playoffs a couple times, or he got Coach of the Year a couple times. He has Bijan, Drake London, and Kyle Pitts at tight end. So obviously they lost Darnell Mooney though, so we'll have to see if they're going to start Tua or Penix. I would guess it's going to be Tua, but we will have to see. Next up, we have the Baltimore Ravens. I'm going to say playoff team right now. Some may say a deep playoff team. Some may say Super Bowl contenders. This team is looking solid, but I feel like they lost a lot of core players in free agency that they have to replace. Players like, they got to get that tight end too with Isaiah Likely. They lost Charlie Kohler. They lost a couple players on the defense. They lost a couple receivers to free agency. So I think Keaton Mitchell at running back too. So this team still needs to bring in a couple more depth pieces, role players kind of deal if they want to be up here. Now, keep in mind, I'm only going to have 14 teams in these top 3 tiers because that's how many playoff teams are in the NFL. Next up, we have the Buffalo Bills, and I think I'm going to put them Super Bowl contenders. Last year, they kind of ended the year on deep playoff run, Super Bowl contender-ish. They're on the fence of it, I think, but getting DJ Moore and then getting, Bradley Chubb isn't the best in the league, but he's a solid edge rusher. Getting those two should help this team a lot. I still feel like they're going to do one more big swing before this offseason is over, but I think as if right now the Bills are one of those teams that are in a better spot. Next up, we have the Carolina Panthers. I'm going to go playoff team. I believe this team could go on a deep run next year, but I still want to see another weapon for the offense and a little more O-line depth. And I think the defense drastically got better this offseason. It was already an average unit last year, and we are only going to get better when we got Devin Lloyd and Jalen Phillips. But Tedero McMillan, obviously wide receiver 1, very good. Coker's a good wide receiver. But what's after that? Does Leggett take a step up, or do the Panthers get somebody else in there to compete with Leggett, kind of push him a little bit? So we will have to see what we do there. I like our tight end room, but I wouldn't be surprised if we drafted Sadiq at tight end to have like Sadiq and Sanders be our 2 tight ends. So it's just going to be interesting to see what we do the rest of free agency in the draft. But I think right now Carolina could easily go up to deep playoff run, maybe even Super Bowl contender. But I think definitely right now the Carolina Panthers are a playoff team. All right, moving on, we have the Chicago Bears. Now, this is going to be an interesting one. A lot of people will think to put them up here, but I'm going to just put them as a playoff team, and I'll tell you why. They lost a lot in their secondary. I know they got a couple players to replace them, but losing Jaquan Brisker at Kevin Byard at safety, I think, is going to hurt them. Edmonds at linebacker. And I still personally just don't trust Caleb Williams to be the guy right now to lead them very long. I know, they played good last year, but I don't know. Just, I think Chicago isn't as good as people make them to be. So I don't think they're bad, but I think they lost some players and they're going to kind of have like a um, Lions kind of regression this year. Like, they made the playoffs, they were good. Now they just kind of go down for a little bit, but I think they're decent. Cincinnati Bengals. I will put them at playoff team for right now, but if I have to, I'm going to move them down. They still have not quite did as much defensive enforcements or offensive line enforcements as much as I wanted them to this offseason. They've had money to do it. They're aggressive. They're just cheap. That's the reality of it. They got Brian Cook at safety. They added a little bit on their offensive line, but none of those moves really, really move me. If Joe Burrow stays healthy, that team's still really good. Jamar Chase, T. Higgins. So right now, I'll say they're a playoff team. They could be a Super Bowl contender if they got a Dane line and competent defense. Cleveland Browns rebuilding. I don't have any faith in their future, if I'm being honest. Dallas Cowboys. I think they missed playoffs. They are on the brink of the playoffs, I think, but right now I still think they're just outside. Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens is a really good trio, but I think Dak Prescott's only getting older. The defense still kind of weak to me. They got a little better. They got Rashawn Gary, but they still have that huge hole at linebacker, I think. So they're going to definitely have to go out and address that eventually. Denver, we will put them at deep playoff run. Denver has done practically nothing this offseason until they got Jalen Waddle in a trade with the Miami Dolphins. So that should kind of bring them up a bit more. Broncos definitely needed a wide receiver outside of Courtland Sutton, and getting Jalen Waddle definitely does that. Just the problem is Denver did lose a little bit on the defensive side of the ball, like John Franklin Myers. I don't think it will break them, but Denver is very close to Super Bowl contender as much as I don't like them. Detroit Lions, they're going to be a playoff team. I think they're going to bounce back. I think their offensive line is going to be better next year. They're going to play back to that grit, physicality style play that Dan Campbell wants out of that team. And I just think they're going to be a good team. So we got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're halfway through the playoff teams. We'll go Packers as our 8th playoff team. Self-explanatory. Still need a wide receiver. I'm not going to change my opinion on that. Matthew Wilson only caught 1 touchdown last year. They lost Romeo Doubs. Christian Watson, when he's healthy, he's decent. Team still desperately needs a wide receiver. Defense, I think, is fine, especially with Micah Parsons coming back. LaFleur needs to have a good year, and the offensive line needs to be improved just a little bit. Houston, deep playoff run. Defense is really good. Offense has the same weapons. They're a really good team. I think Houston is better than these teams down here. But I think, again, offensive line, they still need to improve. Houston's defense is a very scary unit. It's similar to Denver. Those two are neck to neck with defenses, and defenses, they say, wins championships. So just keep building that offensive line, and CJ Stroud needs to have a bounce back year. Colts, I think they're going to... This is it. Shane Steichen, Chris Ballard, they're gone. I think Shane is a good coach, but I think Chris Ballard is one of the worst GMs in the NFL. They gave Daniel Jones too much money. They traded Michael Pittman. Alec Pierce got too much money. They didn't do much with the defense. They lost Nick Cross, Kwity Paye, which is not good. They lost some linemen too. The Colts are going to have a down year, and it's going to be finally time for them to get rid of that GM and move in another direction. I like the Colts too, but I'm being brutally honest. Whoops. Clicked on an ad. Jacksonville Jaguars, playoff team. They'll be in the wild card. I know this team hasn't done a bunch this offseason, but they're still good. They got Liam Cohen, I think, is an incredible players coach. Brian Thomas Jr. is going to have a bounce back year. Travis Hunter will be back. Jacoby Myers, that's arguably one of the best wide receiver trios in the league. Defense, they lost Devin Lloyd. They have to fill that spot. They have to fill a corner spot too. But Trevor Lawrence depends on how he plays. I could also see them barely missing the playoffs. So I think they're just still around that playoff bound. um, range. They're kind of similar to Cincinnati, but I think Jacksonville's a little better as of right now. Kansas City is a tough one because if Justin Fields might start 2, 3 games, or maybe the first four if he's Mahomes on IR. I'm gonna say playoff team. They probably will bounce back knowing them, but I don't think they're gonna go far. I think the Chiefs will make the playoffs, but I think this will assert the last year of their dominance. I think after this year, Andy Reid will retire. Spagnola maybe. I just think this team lost a lot. They lost a player like Brian Cook. Try to think of more. Their wide receivers, I don't think are all that Worthy and Rice. They lost Pacheco, which I think they were going to replace anyway. They're probably going to go with like Jeremiah. Oh, they got Kenneth Walker. Yeah, so he adds that. Travis Kelce's playing one more year. So the team isn't bad. I think they will be probably like 10, 11 wins. They probably will bounce back knowing Andy Reid's one of the best coaches of all time. Raiders are rebuilding, but I'm going to put them in missed playoffs. I still think they're going to have a good year. I think they've had an incredible offseason. The linebacker duo I'm really high on. Quay Walker, Nakobe Dean, Clint Kubiak I'm high on. They got the first overall pick, which would be Mendoza. I hope they bring in somebody like Kirk Cousins to start the year so Mendoza can watch, and learn. Genty at running back. And then wide receiver, I'd like to see them get a little stronger, but it's not terrible. Obviously, they just got oh my gosh, my mind went blank. They got Jalen Nailor from the Minnesota Vikings. They still need to target that position a little more. There's somebody I'm not thinking of. And the defense, obviously, they got Crosby back. They, again, first overall pick. They have a lot of draft picks the next couple years. So I think this team's in a good spot if Clint Kubiak does it right. Chargers. How many do we got? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We're in room for 2 more playoff teams. I'm going to have to move some of these down, huh? All right. Chargers. I'll go miss playoffs. As of right now, I think the Chargers could be a real legit threat, but I just think the AFC is only getting better. Besides Lad McConkey, the Chargers receiver room isn't the greatest. Jim Harbaugh, I think, didn't have the greatest year last year. The offensive line is horrendous. They didn't do a bunch to improve it from what I've seen. And the defense, some players on there are only getting older. Khalil Mack, Derwin James. So I could definitely see this team regressing. It could happen. And I'll just say they barely missed the playoffs. Rams are a Super Bowl contender for sure. They just got better with Jalen Watson and Trent McDuffie, 2 corners to add to their team. That, again, just makes them better. Devontae Adams, Puka Nacua, really good wide receiver duo. I think Stafford will have a little worse year next year, but I still think he's going to play really good football, and this team is an early Super Bowl favorite. Same with Seattle. Oh, wait, no. They're not even up yet. I'm bugging. Miami, they're rebuilding. They're not going to have a good year. They're not set up to have a good year. They're relying on Malik Willis to be their guy at least for a year, but the problem is they don't have any wide receivers, so they're kind of setting him up for failure. So we'll have to see what direction the Dolphins do, especially in the draft. But I wouldn't mind seeing this team just keep kind of moving on from players like they have been to get more picks. Minnesota, they're a playoff team. I really think they are. Kyler Murray, I think, is going to... I'm high on this signing, Kyler Murray to the Vikings. I think they're going to be a lot better, a lot more improved next year. It's going to be the best wide receiver and coach Kyler's had in his career. Kevin O'Connell, Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison's good too. TJ Hawkinson. Vikings line isn't bad. Defensively, they're solid with Brian Flores, who should be a head coach. But I think that team is set up for success. All right, moving on, we have the New England Patriots, and I'm just going to put them at playoff team. I could see them taking a huge step back this season. I think they got Romeo Doubs, but I think they're going to trade for A.J. Brown too after June 1st. This team is solid. Mike Vrabel is a great players coach, but I just don't think they played better than they were last year, which I just think that they haven't done much this offseason besides Romeo Doubs that I think, that's going to get them over the hump. which I think is smart with their roster construction because they did spend a lot of money last year, but I don't think the Patriots will be back in the Super Bowl. Saints are missing the playoffs. Can't convince me otherwise. They're on the same boat as Atlanta, but a little worse. Giants are in the same boat as the Raiders. They're in a solid spot, but they're not anywhere near playoffs right now. I like Jackson Dart, Cam Scadaboo. Harbaugh's a good hire for them. I like their moves, but I still think this team is still a little bit away. Jets, no faith. Eagles, we'll go playoff team. I think they're gonna bounce back. I don't know if they're gonna go on a deep run, but I think this could be Nick Sirianni's last year if the team keeps going the way it is. Eagle wise, Steelers, they're gonna have a bad year. There's no if or buts about it. I don't think this team is set up for success. I don't think they're gonna do good this year, regardless who their quarterback is. I don't believe in them. Niners, they are a deep playoff run team. Mike Evans is going to be a huge piece for that team. They are a really good team. Shanahan's one of the best coaches in the NFL. And if they can just stay healthy, this team will be really good. Seattle, I think, is still going to be really good. I like Coach Mike McDonald. They did lose a good amount of pieces, which is why I'm keeping them a deep playoff run, but I still believe in this team. Mike McDonald, like I said, is incredible. Will Sam Darnold play that level again? Will JSN play that level again? Will the defense? Tampa Bay, they're going to miss the playoffs. It's Bulls last year and the GMs last year. Tennessee, they are rebuilding, but they are heading in a right direction. I could easily see them having a season like the Raiders, but I still think Tennessee's a little off from that. I do like the moves they made. I like the coaching staff of actually, I'm going to miss playoffs. I like the coaching move of Brian Daboll and um, Robert Saleh, bringing those two in. I think that's good. And I think that the Tennessee Titans are heading in the right direction. Commanders, they will be a playoff team. So obviously this category is loaded. We got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. I'm going to move 4 down for the video's sake. We'll move Cincinnati down, keep improving that offensive line. We'll move Kansas City down. We'll move New England. It's tough. Minter's first year, take that in consideration. I don't know. I'm just gonna leave it at this for right now. Let's say these are the tier list. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please subscribe. Let me know in the comments below where you think your team stands as the offseason right now. Obviously, this is very, very, very early. This is just the second. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take it easy.